Good morning, and guess what? We're working at the tiny desk again inside my house. My wife is working again this weekend, and so we're unable to do the regular live show again. So I'm going to do this while I'm keeping an eye on my little guy, my son, who's in the other room, happily doing things, hobby in his what we call it the hobby room over there. And so he's building and doing things, and we're in the house right at the moment. So I'm working very tiny today with some Rembrandt Soft Pastels. And I don't really have a goal other than I've been trying to work smaller pieces lately. Don't ask me why. I just know that I am. So enjoy my tiny desk series, this is the second one in the series. And apparently it's now a thing that I'm going to be doing because I had requests to do some smaller work because I do mostly large scale stuff. My background is in public art and also private big collections, lots of large work. Anyway, so the point is, this is a challenge for me. So we have the Rembrandt Soft Pastels. Obviously, I'm working into a wet surface here, and I'm going to build up the surface with the soft pastels, and I might add some other paints to this as we go, as well as some other kinds of material. But for the moment, I'm trying to work on these little tiny, what are these, about 5-inch pieces? I probably should have measured that before I got on air. So it's a Saturday morning, and while my son is cartoon watching and I am in here doing this, and my poor wife is at the work doing her work thing. I got into a little show just today, and I also got into another art show recently. So there's some good stuff happening at the moment with the art. I'm waiting for another big show, the Madison show today, to see if I get into that one. So has anybody else worked with the soft pastels into a wet surface, a board like this? I'm just curious. I find I can get really dramatic colors very painterly by doing this process. The other thing you may notice is that I've gone and started with the black, kind of moved it around. And the bigger scale it becomes much more emotive, and there's big sweeping moves. I'm creating to a favorite artist of mine, Hania Rani. I believe she's Polish, and she does absolutely amazing music that it like switches the switch on for me for creativity. It's crazy. And my wife has the same reaction with her work when she's doing writing. So it's really interesting that it does the same thing for both of us. So I'm kind of creating a little bit of distance. I thought I was going to do kind of a tree form wrapping around here with the leaves dropping in, but already I've gone off book with the process, and we're doing this. Lots of color. Not quite spring around here in northern Michigan. I'm in Duluth, Minnesota. I said northern Michigan just there, didn't I? We were in northern Michigan. We are now in Duluth, Minnesota, which we absolutely adore. I do miss our garden back in Michigan. It was, when we left, it was quite advanced by that point. And so you spend years developing ponds and water features and all of that. And you realize when you move that you have to start over. It's a fresh canvas for our garden. We've made a lot of progress in 3.5 years, but still it's a challenge to remember what we had, and then now we have to rebuild so much of it. But it's also enjoyable. Fresh canvas is always fun, right? So somebody in the last video I did said, "Oh, these things must be so toxic because you're wearing these rubber gloves." No, if Hugo, my son, hollers and needs help with something, I can just peel these off and go, and I don't have to worry about my hands being too dirty for whatever the thing is that I've got to deal with when I go over to the other room. So I entered a lot of shows this spring, more than normal. So I'm going to be really curious to see what I get into. Both like shows for exhibiting the work, group shows, and then also doing the art fairs, the outdoor art fairs, which are really not my favorite thing to do because it's always dependent on weather, and it gets to be really, it gets to be just difficult. Some windstorms, we stopped doing it at one point because of the windstorms. It was not fun. But we're back at it now, and I hear my kiddo coming already around the corner. We'll see if he comes in here in a minute. So kind of spring feeling, even though the temperature was 10 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Dropped back down again. But spring flowers, miss it. I have a piece in an upcoming spring show here. A flower show in spring inspired. It's at I think it's at the Prove Gallery here in Duluth, Minnesota, and the Nordic Center. So that's pretty fun. We got that coming up in a week. Opening reception for that one is April 11th. And so I'm looking forward to that. Look at these fabulous colors over here I got a bunch of my annual allotment from Royal Talons, including a lot more. I have the big sets of these Rembrandt Soft Pastels that I got, and then I received a lot of my allotment for my acrylic paints too, and I haven't even gotten into the acrylic paints, but I'll be starting to do the big 4 and 5 foot pieces with those soon. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. I just haven't had a chance yet. But this is fun, right? Let's do this really super light pink down here. Create a little gradient effect, some appearance of depth, I hope, as I go. Like I said, I'm not exactly used to working so small. Anyway, I like to use the black first because as I go, it creates a certain element of rustication, or another term would be age. It kind of looks aged, like it has the passage of time with it. And I find that really fascinating. So let's see, one more color, maybe over here, and we could maybe start another one from the Tiny Desk series around here. Let's add a little bit of this light blue over there. Can you see okay, everybody? How about I turn it like that this time? Still working into a spritzed surface. Last week I worked on paper. This week it's on a board that I happen to have. I really like these boards a lot. They're a lot of fun to work with. Let's carry that blue up into there. Nice. A little dot of blue over here. And we'll do a little bit of structural indications in a few spots. And as this dries, then I'll go back in and highlight it, usually with a Conti or a hard pastel like this one, and I'll outline when it's dry and bring some of these pieces forward, one of these sections forward, or try and get them to recede and create more depth. I also have a black version of this I use as well. So there we have a little piece really quickly done and started. I'll probably let this dry and then come back to it again. So that's kind of how my process at the Tiny Desk every week, basically. Hopefully this will become a thing. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments, please. Please, as always, like, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. And visit me at davidaustingallery.com. Check out some soft pastels. I know all of you have these in your drawer in the art studio. Get something, piece of paper or a board wet, and try it, this technique. You're going to have so much fun. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Be kind to each other. We'll see you next time.